It was the worst time and the best time, and I felt really lost, but then, as cheesy as it sounds, from there I was able to find me and get to where I am today. The time I felt most lost in my life was actually, I can pinpoint it, it was December 2010. And the years prior to that, I had been going through some mental health problems and had, as a result, been medicated. And I'd tried one form of medication and then switched to another one, a very similar one. And the medication worked because I didn't feel sad anymore, but I also didn't feel happy, or I didn't feel excited, and I didn't feel anything. And, I got to the point where I didn't want to feel nothing anymore. The days all felt the same, and I was living by myself in an apartment, which they tell you not to do when you're not happy. But of course, I'd built this little life where I could be quite secretive, and it's quite amazing what you can hide in text messages with lots of exclamation marks and kisses and convince everyone around you that you're feeling okay so that you can be by yourself and not feel great. But I just got to a point where I didn't want to feel nothing anymore. And so I decided to take myself off my medication. Of course, I didn't run it past my doctor because I know best, and I've since learned that it's not a great idea just to go cold turkey off medication. But I got it and I put it all down the sink, very dramatically like they do in the movies, because I thought, well, that's how they do it. And I was terrified because I didn't like who I was at that time, because I didn't feel anything, but at least I knew where the edges were and I knew who I was. The whole thing really came about a few years prior when I had what I now know was a panic attack, and I had been at work and I went through this phase where I didn't really know what was happening, but I left work and went and got in my car and I just went driving, and I was very, very worried, and I didn't know what I was worried about, but this worry was consuming me. And at the time I was driving, my mum called me, and she swears that she knew to call at that time, and she just asked me what was wrong, and I told her I was so worried and I didn't know what I was worrying about. Obviously, it turned out I was having a panic attack, and she rang a close friend of mine, and he coaxed me to his work, where he took me to the hospital, and I was given something to calm my nerves, and I was from there prescribed an antidepressant. It was really scary. I didn't know what was coming the next day, and that's not really the way I operate. I need to really have a handle on everything for me to feel okay. But it was the worst time and the best time, and I felt really lost. But then, as cheesy as it sounds, from there I was able to find me and get to where I am today.